For a long time now, most guitars have stayed relatively the same. They have similar body shapes, similar features, and not too much has really evolved over the years. But once in a while, a new guitar will come out that is more innovative and tries to push the boundaries of what guitars can be. And this is one of those guitars. This is the GTRS Intelligent Guitar powered by MOOER. Now, before I get into a full overview of this guitar and all of its features, I want to mention that this video is sponsored by MOOER, and they did send me this guitar. But I only accept sponsorships to show products that I personally am excited about, so everything I say in this video will be my honest opinion. While this may look like a normal guitar, it actually has a built-in effects system that allows you to achieve pretty much any tone you could possibly want, and all you have to do to play with it is plug in headphones directly into the guitar and you are good to go. So for example, if I don't have the built-in effects turned on, we just get some dry guitar signal like this. But then, if I just turn this special knob down here that lights up, we wait a second for it to boot up, and then we get something like this. And that is just getting started with the features built into this guitar. So once you've turned on the GTRS processing system using this knob here that they call the super knob, you can then toggle between 4 different presets just on the guitar itself, and then you can customize them and change them up entirely using the GTRS app, which I will go into in a little bit. So I currently have my guitar on this preset here. But then if I want a more lead tone, I could hit this button and get something totally different. And then I can switch to a clean tone. Then I can switch to one more as well. So while having access to 4 built-in presets is awesome on its own because you can bring the guitar anywhere and practice anywhere with just a pair of headphones, you can do a lot more in terms of customization and other things if you download the GTRS app on Android or iOS. And just really quickly before I show you everything the app has to offer and all of the cool tones you can get, I should probably talk a little bit about the guitar itself without all the smart features because it is a cool instrument on its own as well. Here I have the S801 model, which has a maple fretboard, but I think that right now they're primarily selling the S800 model, which has a rosewood fretboard but is otherwise pretty much the same. This guitar has a roasted maple neck, and it is in the color Sonic Blue, which I think is super awesome. It is very different than all my other blue guitars, but it really stands out, and yeah, I'm a big fan of this color. But if you're not into this color, they have many other options as well. The guitar has 22 nickel silver jumbo frets, and it has a C-shaped neck profile, which is honestly a bit thicker than I'm personally used to, but it comes down to personal preference. I'm used to like the really thin Ibanez neck, so this is a little bit thick for me, but definitely not uncomfortable to play, and I'm sure some people might prefer this thickness as well. As you can see here, the guitar has a humbucker in the bridge position, and then 2 single coils in the middle of the neck. And then you have your typical 5-way selector switch and volume and tone knobs. I'll have links to the GTRS website in the description where you can get more detailed specs for the guitar if you're interested. So let's check out some of the things you can do with the GTRS app on your phone. So while you can access 4 presets at any time on the guitar itself, if you go into the app, there are over 100 presets that you can choose between, and you could load them onto your guitar as one of your 4 presets if you prefer any of them to the defaults. So there is a lot you can do here. So if you hit this folder button, you can see their tone library, which has a bunch of different presets that you can then customize to your liking. So let's just look in the heavy category here and see what we have. We have the heavy metal preset. Let's try that out. How about Angry Eddie? That sounds cool as well. There are just so many options here that would take way too long to go through all of them, but just know that there are a lot of different tones you can work with. So there's everything from pop to blues to funk, rock, jazz, and then of course the heavy presets as well. Let's just check out some from some other categories too. Really, so far, all of these presets sound awesome to me, and they're just really fun to play with. Whenever I pick up this guitar, I end up playing a lot longer than I planned to, just because there's so many fun things to play around with. So clearly there are a lot of really fun presets in this tone library, but there are actually even more presets to be found in the app. So if you click on this down arrow here, you get a list of more presets that you can toggle between and load on your guitar. And this is actually how you choose which 4 presets are on the guitar by default. So if I selected the 4 category, so 4A, then when I hit this button, it would bring up 4B, 4C, and 4D. So that's how you choose which 4 are on the guitar, but you can customize these to be whatever you like, so you're not stuck with any of the defaults. And if all those presets aren't enough and you want more of them, there's actually a tone sharing feature built into the app. So if you create an account and go to the cloud button here, you can search for other people's tones and download them and try them out. So there's clean, low gain, high gain, and you can upload your own as well. And it's not the easiest thing to search through. There's not much sorting going on, but it is there, and it is a cool idea to get to share tones with other users. Also, if you find a preset you like, but you want to customize it, you can do that. So if you tap on the super knob icon in the app, it brings up the signal chain for your current preset, and you can totally customize it. You can change the cab, the amp, you can change the effects like reverb, delay, modulation, dynamics. There's so much you can do here. So for example, let me try modifying this tone here. This is just the USA metal tone. And let's see, let's add some modulation here. There are a lot of things to choose from: phaser, flanger, tremolo, just a lot going on here. So you can select flanger and then enable the modulation, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot that you can do here. You can also move the effects around in the chain to change the order of them. And yeah, we can add some delay, turn off the flanger, and it's pretty delayed. But yeah, there is just a lot you can do, and it is pretty crazy how much customization this offers just built into the guitar itself. And once you've customized the sound to your liking, you can just save it as a new preset, and it will overwrite one of the existing ones, and then you can use it whenever you want, or even load it onto the guitar if it's in your selected bank of 4 sounds. In addition to being able to toggle tones on the guitar itself, if you choose to, you can get an additional wireless foot switch called the GWF4, and you can use this to toggle between your selected presets as well. So for example, right now I have the guitar set to a heavier tone, but then I can just toggle this preset right here on the foot switch, and now I am at a clean. So yeah, it does the same thing as the button on the guitar, but it could be really helpful for playing in live settings or just settings where you don't want to have to fiddle around with the guitar itself while you're playing. And speaking of the foot switch, you can easily connect the foot switch to the app as well, and it will show you which presets are loaded onto it, which will be the same ones that are loaded onto the guitar, the same 4, but you can also toggle the mode to control a built-in looper as well. The built-in looper will start recording when you play something on the guitar, so you hit the record button, and then you can just and then hit stop, and then you can hit play. And it will just play back through the guitar or through the interface if you're plugged into one. And that is really cool, although it's a little bit hard to stop the recording while you're playing. So I think if you wanted to seriously use this looper, you'd probably also want to get the wireless foot switch so that you can control it with your foot instead of having to kind of take your hand off the guitar and hit stop. But it is a cool feature to have included in the guitar regardless. And yeah, if you want to use it to its full extent, I'd recommend the foot switch here. There are a bunch of other awesome features that are built into the guitar and app as well. So there is a built-in tuner. If you connect to your guitar via the app, you can tune your guitar at any time. There's a built-in drum machine and metronome, which is also cool because it plays back through the guitar. So if you're using headphones, you'll hear the drum or metronome along with your guitar playing. So as an example, and you can change the BPM, of course, and the volume. And then there's a drum track with lots of different customizations. The app also includes a chord generator that will kind of tell you what different chords are and how to play them and show you different ways to play them on the guitar. So you can just select your root note and the type of chord, and it will show you how to play them and what notes are in them. So that is cool if you want to brush up on some chords and learn something new while playing around with this guitar. One other interesting feature that I want to touch on briefly is that the app can actually detect which pickup position you have selected on the guitar, and with that there is a tone capture feature that allows you to kind of emulate the pickup styles from different guitars. So you could have a Les Paul style humbucker in the bridge and a Strat in the neck, and kind of just choose whatever you want for the sound of each pickup. So for example, I have the first pickup position selected, which is the bridge, and I just have the original tone on right now. And then if I go in here and I change it to something else, like a Les Paul style guitar, it will change how the guitar sounds. And there are a lot of different options here, everything from acoustic guitars to Strats to Tellies. And yeah, I don't know how accurate it is, I don't have the guitars to compare it to, but it certainly changes the tone and gives you a lot more different options to work with if this is something you're interested in. Yeah, I think it definitely sounds more acoustic-y. There's also some global settings that you can modify, so you can change which mode you're using the guitar in, whether it's with headphones or an interface like I'm in right now. You can change the global EQ, the input gain, and you can also set the mode of the super knob to either switch between presets, as I have now, which seems more useful to me, but you can also set it to toggle on and off the guitar simulation. So if you prefer that, that is an option as well. One other thing to mention outside of the app is that you can actually connect your phone to the guitar via Bluetooth and play back any audio you want through the guitar itself. So if you want to play along to a jam track or practice along with a song, you can do that through the guitar itself. So if you play back the audio, plug in your headphones, you'll hear it coming from the guitar, and that is another super useful thing for practicing. So as you can tell, this guitar has a ton of really cool features built in, and it just makes it really fun and inspiring to play with. I could see this guitar fitting into a lot of different players' workflows, from beginners who maybe don't want to have to worry about amps and pedals but still want to have fun tones to play around with, to maybe more advanced players who, for whatever reason, can't have an amp set up but again still want the awesome range of tones. Or maybe even for busking, you could just bring a amp but no pedals, no effects, and just use the guitar itself. I think for me personally, I'll probably use the guitar mostly as a fun practice tool. I might put it in a different room sometimes where I don't have my amp and computer set up, and just use it there because I won't have to bring anything other than headphones. I could also see totally bringing this with me if I'm traveling and don't want to bring anything else with me, because everything is just built in. And actually, speaking of travel, the guitar actually comes with a really nice gig bag. It is well padded and just looks nice and sleek, and it's a lot better than some I've seen with more expensive guitars. So yeah, this is a nice inclusion. So clearly overall, I am quite impressed by this guitar, and I've had a ton of fun with it so far. The guitar is around $660, so it's kind of a middle range guitar, I guess. It's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive either. I think you're getting a lot for that price. I've only had a few minor issues with the guitar. One was that when I got the guitar, the action was quite high, and I prefer much lower action, so I had to do a full setup. I had to adjust the neck with the truss rod adjuster and also lower the saddles. So just keep that in mind. If you're thinking about getting this guitar, you may have to set it up yourself or bring it to a professional to get it set up, but it probably varies a lot between the individual instruments. Another thing is that I'm not a huge fan of the bridge, purely because the screws that hold the saddles in place are really tall on my guitar, at least with how I've adjusted the guitar and the action, so that when I rest my hand on the bridge, it kind of scrapes my hand a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I think this could be pretty easily fixed by just getting some shorter screws or maybe sanding these down. But yeah, both of those things are pretty easily fixable, so definitely not a huge deal. I really appreciate all the thought that went into this instrument, and the software is just really fun, and if anything in the video appealed to you, I think it's definitely worth checking out. If you are interested in checking out this guitar, I'll have a link for the guitar and also the wireless foot pedal in the description below. MOOER actually provided me with a 10% off code for all of you watching this video. It will work for the first week after I post the video, and it will be in the description as well. Thank you so much to the people over at MOOER for sending me out the guitar and sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. And thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.